Let's do it.
I love that in this story, Paul has these very seasoned mentors who bring something different to the table in each of them. And for Duncan Idaho, it seems like it's a very brotherly relationship, but he's also such a skilled warrior. And so I want to really drill down into the corridor fight sequence. It seems to me that that's when we finally get to see the bulk of what Duncan can do physically. And I wondered how long it took to choreograph that scene. And did it mean something special to you because you finally got to cut loose?
Well, it took a long time. We started right when I got to Budapest.
I just saw the season finale of Game of Thrones last night. This fight's for you, Khaleesi.
Shot all the stuff in Jordan first, and then we went to Budapest, and that's when I learned to fight. And that was literally the last thing we shot. So we had a good amount of prep time. I've never fought that many people before. I learned a bunch of stuff, like different styles of fighting that I've never learned before. I have an amazing stuntman who also helped protect me and do a lot of an equally amount of fights too. So it was probably one of the ones we trained the most for because you just don't want to hurt anyone, you know? We want to make sure that with that many guys moving with swords, it's just, you know, I've been knocked out, I've hit people. It's just the worst. So you want to make sure you protect everyone, so you give it your all.
You all right?
Yeah. Do you know that if it was actually 19 guys? I think in the text it's supposed to be 19 soldiers that he takes
Yeah,
over.
I think it is. I think we kept it real.
You're trying to give me court-martial.
This is a brilliantly faithful adaptation of Dune. It's ridiculous how seamless Denis has made it. I have scoured this iconic text from front to back, and I cannot find the line to shower. You scrub your ass with sand. Please tell me the origin of that brilliant line.
Wow, that's funny because that was a real moment for us. That scene, because we're having to look out and obviously there's not a floating thing and it was more green screen. And we were trying on different lines, which he and I have a tendency to do. And that seemed to be the one that popped up. That it's not in the source material, is it?
No, it's not. It's not, but I love it. It worked.
That one was worth it. I think it was in the vein of, hopefully he's okay with it.
Seemed the right way.
Oscar, George Lucas has made it very clear that Dune has influenced Star Wars. So as one of the very few actors who's now played in both sandboxes, how do they compare for you?
Which one's best?
Star Trek. No. It's true. It's you know, you see where all and not just in Star Wars, but in so many stories that have been influenced by Frank Herbert. And so that was really interesting to do, but it felt, and I was, when I first got there, I was like, oh, what are the costumes going to look like? Am I right back in the thing? But it's such a different vibe, tone.
Relationship drama in space.
Yeah.
Where gadgets is not sort of the entity.
Yeah, and it does, you know, it doesn't have the same quality, you know? And so that was really exciting to really feel like I was doing something quite different, even though there was elements that clearly inspired Star Wars.
Sure, I chuckled when Leto said he wanted to be a pilot. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was even a line. Well, do we leave it in? Do we that? You know, but then you have to just be true to what you're doing, regardless. You know, you can't let all those external factors in because then you're making choices for the wrong reasons.
I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer.
The term immersive is being thrown around a ton on this movie, you know, just for the way that Denis is able to plunge us into this world that he's created. But I'm curious, on set, is it possible for you to immerse yourself, or are you just too aware of the process?
This is probably the one. It's a great question. This is probably the one where it was the, you know, easiest to, because when you go to Wadi Rum and you go to, you know, I never see anything like Jordan. I probably never went to Jordan. Now I can't wait to take my family to Jordan. Like going to Petra is like, me going to Petra is like Duncan going to Arrakis and literally wandering around at night and being under that desert moon. And, you know, the things I saw on camels just wandering out wild in the middle of nowhere. There's just so many beautiful things in our world and worth protecting. And I feel like it was very easy to play my character who's going to go into Arrakis and make friends with the Fremen.
This cast is, it's so perfect. Every actor is the ideal choice for the role that they land in. Heading into the casting process, who was the character that you worried the most about getting right because of their importance?
All of them. I mean, I was like, I trusted deeply the actors that I casted, but I mean, when I worried is not once I choose them, it was more as I was like meditating and thinking about who should I approach to do each part. It's like it's like those characters are so iconic, and people are living with these characters in such a long time that I needed to be really careful who I will approach. And yeah, it's but I will say this. No matter what people think about the movie, I will say that one thing for sure is that I think the casting is perfect. I mean, I think that everybody. I think that they embodied so close to the description of the book, the characters. I think I'm like really happy about everybody.
Most impressive.
If you could show one scene from this Dune to Frank Herbert just to get his reaction, which one would you choose?
Wow, that's a good question, man. That's a good question. You know, selfishly, I would say, God, I don't know. I would show him one scene, and it's a 2-hour and 35-minute scene. And it's half the book. And then I would want to show him the rest of the book once that's done. But selfishly, I would say I like where he injected, I like this duality with Gurney of warrior poet. I like that.
Right.
Maybe a scene, you know, there is a scene with me singing that we have in a vault.
What?
And I feel like I did well. I probably didn't, but I've convinced myself that I did well. So
I'm sorry, Gurney does not sound like the singing type.
No, I know, but he might be. You might just be surprised. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it in the rest of the book.
There's a beautiful scene of Gurney Halleck singing with a beautiful song written by and Frank Herbert and John Spate, and put in music by Hans Zimmer, and it's beautiful. And this is the thing that I cut out that is still painful to me. It's like when I make a movie, things that I cut out of the movie, they're dead to me. It's like, okay, it's not in the movie. That the song from Gurney Halleck was breaking my heart, and by itself, so, you know, it was so beautiful, and I had to cut it out for numerous reasons, and boy, that was painful. But there's a part 2 because yeah, it's like and I love the way Josh did it, and yeah, one thing at a time.
Smile, Gurney.
I am smiling.
When you return to film Dune Part 2, not if, what is something you now know better about your character in this world that will really help with your preparation?
The pace, the rhythm, the internal rhythm, the way he carries the weight of his people and his the legacy.
All of it, literally all of it. I hadn't. I hate saying that I wasn't a Dune fan or hadn't read the books, but that is the truth of it. I think I was so selfish in my other projects. But she's come to life, you know, a character who Denis has been living with since he was 14, whether it's Duke Leto or Jessica or Paul, or we've all managed to defibrillate the life into them, and now hopefully get to carry them on to number 2 if you guys do a good job.
Yes, we're channeling that positivity.
Do your part.
Takes 2 to tango, baby.
I think that it was nice for us because we had little enough to do, even though we were there a lot, that we weren't exhausted by the end of the film. So I think we want to explore it as much as anybody.
This is only the beginning.
Javier, I believe you and Josh have more screen time together in Dune than you did in the masterpiece, No Country for Old Men. Were there any scenes you two filmed together for that movie that just didn't make the cut?
In No Country?
Yes, sir.
No,
we have a phone call together.
Yeah, everything that we shot is what's in the movie.
And so what was it like to trade lines in a film like this?
We don't trade lines. We just look at each other.
That's right.
No. Every time, if we work together, we have an understanding between us as friends that if we have any dialogue together, we don't do the movie. One doesn't do the movie. We trade off. There's about 7 movies out there that we had the opportunity to do, but there was talking and we said no.
Listen, they both turned into masterpieces. So.
You know what, though? If this movie continues, we'll have a lot together.
Yeah.
That's
and it will
very true.
be the first time, which will be really fun to explore.
And then we'll become enemies.
And then finally, with
Our
more
friendship will
friends.
break.
No more friends.
Only together can we stand a chance.
Let's fight like demons.
This might be the dumbest question in the world, but it's the first time in a long time I think I've seen you in a role without your beard. Is there a reason why you shave for Duncan?
Denis, my favorite director, asked me to, and so I did. I mean, he wanted something different. He wanted that look. So I'm like, yeah, I love you and I respect you, and let's do it. I personally don't like shaving, so I'm not going to do it.